Good day, everyone. Just finished a long day of work. It's Friday, and I decided to make the part two of this video. I actually finished the part two and upload it today. And this portion of the video is going to be about the energies that fill our 12 houses. And when I say energies, I'm talking about the 12 zodiac signs. There's 12 energies that fill the houses, and I'm going to discuss that. I'm also going to talk about the first, well, actually the only 5 planets that manipulate or influence our personalities. And the 5 planets that have a big influence, or the most immediate influence on our personalities, are the Moon, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And I'm going to kind of talk about how the energies play out along with one another. And what do I mean by that? Like, when a planet is in a certain sign of energy, which is in a certain house, I'm going to kind of discuss how the energy plays out through that house, from planet to sign to expression through the house. So I hope you enjoy my video, and if I trip up on anything, or if maybe I missed something, please feel free to drop it in the comment section below. So I hope you enjoyed the video. There it is. This is where I am in designing my wall and putting like an astrological display on it. And if you notice, it's a little bit different from the last video, and I'm going to explain the additions that I've made to it and tell what they mean. But one of the first additions that I made was that I put numbers to represent the different houses. Like here, number 1, this is the first house. And you see all the rest of the numbers that, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12. And the other addition that I made, if you look, there's red tape added. And what does the red tape represent? The red tape represents the signs in the houses. And if we step up and look a little bit closer, if you look at my 12th house and first house, the Aquarius sign is partially in my 12th house and partially in my first house. And if you look here at my first house and second house, I have Pisces here. It's partially in the first and partially in the second. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the first house. The first house is about personality. It's about how you express yourself and show yourself to the world, or to whatever situation you're in. And here, if you look, this line here, this is the rising, right? This is where your rising sign would be. And for me, my rising sign is Aquarius, because Aquarius is the energy that begins this house. It begins the first house. So it's my rising energy. And what is rising energy? Rising energy, or your rising sign, it's the way you are seen by the world, by everyone. It's not necessarily who you are most of the time. It's just the way people see you. So Aquarius is the way that you would see me if you don't really know me. And if you want to know how you see me and understand how you see me, you'd have to know the characteristics and the behavior of Aquarius to understand the way I present my personality to you and to anyone else. So Aquarius is my rising energy, and it's the way you present yourself to everyone. And I guess another way of looking at this is Like, think of like when you watch my video, when you see me talk, you listen to my words, you see me do things. The way you see me, your interpretation of me, it represents my rising sign, and it's like a mask. Just like the real me is not my real name, it's a mask. And what you see here in my videos is not the real me. It's just me putting on a presentation and just putting on a show. So it's not the real me. It's just like, you know, a mask if you're an actor or a performer. And the mask that I usually wear is the Aquarian mask. Okay, so here, if we look, this is the second house, and we have Pisces and we have Aries in the second house. And if you notice, Pisces is the first energy in my second house. You know, it shares, the first and second house share Pisces, but Pisces is the energy that begins the second house. So whatever energy begins a house, the planet that rules that energy will have a major effect on that part of your life. For example, Aquarius rules my first house about personality. And the ruling planet of Aquarius is Saturn. Wherever Saturn is in the rest of my chart will have an effect on this house. It will have an effect on my personality. Same thing with the rest of the houses. Pisces, the beginning house, the beginning sign energy of my second house. So, okay, the ruling planet of Pisces is Jupiter. So wherever Jupiter is in the chart will have like a big effect, a major influence on second house things, like what I value, what makes me feel comfortable, what makes me feel safe, and so forth with the rest of the chart. Like all of the energies, they're basically the signs in order. Like the first sign is Aries, the second sign's Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Cancer energy is here. Leo energy is here. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. We got that upside down. Let me just fix that. Okay. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So that's my progression so far. Those are the signs as they fit into your various houses. Now on to the next portion of the video, which will be about the positioning of your planets as they were when you came into the world. And I won't talk too much about that. I'll just put my planets up and just kind of I'll lay them out, and then I'll just move on to the next portion of the video. Okay, so we're here. I'm picking up where I left off. And if you take a look at my astrological wall chart that I'm making, the addition that I made are my 5 planets, my 5 personality planets. And I'm going to go up closer here. If you look, most of my personality planets are in my first house, and my moon is in my 12th house. And let's talk about like a little bit of what this means. And I'm going to be real basic about this. Okay, so let's start with the planet in my 12th house, the moon. If you notice, the sign that's in my 12th house that the moon is in is Capricorn. If you look here, there's the Capricorn energy, and it's between the red. So my moon is in Capricorn. So that is how I like your moon. Your moon energy is how you think, the things you keep inside of you. It's what makes you feel comfortable inside. It's about your instincts. Like if something happens to you, you hear something, you experience something. Your first instinct that's your moon energy. So, like how I feel inside, how I make decisions, and how I react to things is of a very Capricorn nature. And from my understanding, Capricorn is like an almost cold type of energy, and it comes off as cold because it's so dedicated and focused on what it is that it's trying to plan, do, or execute. So it's not really cold, it's just interpreted that way. And also, if you look, my moon is in the 12th house. So this is the place where I feel most comfortable inside. And the 12th house is it's a very vague house for me, with my understanding. But the 12th house is about the part of us that we don't really get yet. It's there, it exists. We have like these extra senses, but we're not fully conscious of like how these senses play out. And a lot of what I've read, they talk about the 12th house being like a house of delusion, imagination, and things like this. I personally disagree with that, because I think it's just one of those situations where people don't understand it, they can't see it or interpret it, so they just kind of find a way to write it off by calling it crazy or calling it imagination or delusion. To me, it's very real, and just because you can't see it does not mean that it's not there. All right, so let's go to my first house. My first house, it has 4 planets. It has my sun sign. Look, if you look here, I talked about it before. My Aquarius, I have Aquarius energy and Pisces energy in my first house, my personality house, and I have this is my Mercury, which Mercury represents how you think, how you communicate, like about immediate information, and just dealing with things that are immediate to you, like the things you do on a regular basis every day. Not anything deep, but usually things that you just have to constantly do and think about, like just talking to people and just getting through your day. Well, this is how I communicate. My communication and my thinking is of an Aquarian nature. And an Aquarius is, they are like, they don't mind being different or being perceived as different. They're truth seekers, and they make an attempt to try to do things for greater good. I've read that they're considered humanitarians, but I've also read that humanitarian is maybe the wrong term for this type of thing. But my mind, my thinking, my communication is very Aquarian, based on this, and I think it kind of fits based on the reality of just living life and observing myself. Now, if you look here, this is the Pisces part of the energy. I have Pisces in my first house and partially in my second house. And my sun sign is Pisces. Sun sign is the main major way you express yourself. It's the way most people know you. And it's like the deeper than your rising sign. Rising sign is like initial impression. Sun sign is you're really feeling that person out, and you're seeing who they are. Now, the moon sign, I just mentioned the moon sign. The moon sign, it's a person understands your moon sign once they really, really, really get to know you. Because if they understand your moon energy, they know you on a very, very personal basis. So that's the difference between the moon sign and the sun sign. The next energy here in my Pisces energy of my first house is I have Mars. Well, I have Mars. Mars is like an energy of aggression. It's like an aggressive energy. It's about passion. It's about like our will to get things done, to accomplish things. Mars is a taker. It's about getting what you want and like putting effort to get what you want. And I also have Venus here in my first house. In my first house of personality. And Venus is it's like the opposite of Mars. It's about the gentle part of our personality, about us doing good things to get what we want, like giving love and creating a harmonious situation and environment so that we could just, make peace, keep everything peaceful. And something about the Mars and the Venus energy, they're kind of opposite energies. Like Mars is like the opposite of Venus. And like here I have it in my first house. So like, I guess you could say my aggression, my passions, my energy are of a Pisces nature. Like I express myself aggressively with things related to Piscean energy, and my Venus is also of a Piscean nature, how I show love and how I like to receive love. And these things, they're in my personality house together, so they can conflict with one another. Now, if they were perfectly lined up with one another, which I think is called a conjunction, then that's like love and aggression together, and it would create like a whole new energy. Like it's like a new planet almost if they were lined up that way. But mine aren't lined up. They have space in between them. They're just in the same sign, which is Pisces, and in the same house. Okay, so those are that's my introduction or my explanation of the 5 personality planets that represent our personalities. And these are the planets for my birth chart. These are the energies that I came into the world with. This is the energy of the personality that I came into the world with. This is not the energy this is not the setup of the planets today. I'll do that at the end of the next video. Okay, so speaking of the next video, in the next video, the third part of this, I'm going to continue on. I'm going to talk about the other 5 planets. I'm going to talk about Jupiter, and I'm going to talk about Saturn, which just like Mars and Venus, they are kind of opposites of one another. And these planets teach us lessons about life. They teach us, they give our lives structure, and they show us things in life. And I'm going to talk about those, the difference between those and the effects that they have on our lives. I've done a Jupiter video before. The reason why I chose to do Jupiter first was because the effects that it has had on me were so easy to see that I decided just to do a video on that. It's what made me a believer and made me want to look deeper into this, how relevant it seemed to me and how real it seemed to me. And I'm also in the next video going to talk about the 3 outer planets, which they don't really affect us individually. They affect us more as a group. They like for example, there may be a big boom in technology, and those planets affect things like that, which change like not just one person's life, but a lot of people's lives collectively, all together. And at the end of the next video, I'm going to create another group of planets that represent the planets as they are today in real time. So that's the end of this part 2 of my video. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. I love you. You love yourself. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, browse my channel. make the most of your day. And I will too. It just started raining, so I guess I'll just enjoy the beautiful sound of the rain. I'm free and it's Friday, so why not? You know, nature gives us like some really beautiful things. It's all about the small things, and you know, we just make the most of it. So thank you again, and until next time, I'm gone.